Alright, so there are a lot of people in Maplestory 2 when the game came out that were talking about alts, and how if you really wanted to succeed in the game and do well, you would need to play alt characters. And even today, there's still a lot of people saying that if you really want to do well in Maplestory 2, get ready to play a lot of alt characters. Well, I thought I would go ahead and talk about this a little bit today, and today is an especially important day to talk about this because there was recently a producer blog with a really big change that they are going to be making to one of the biggest reasons why people will actually probably say you should play alts, and that is because of the dungeon cap that exists in the game. So this is going to be the primary reason why people say that you should probably play alt characters, and it has to do with the game's dungeon cap. I'm sure if you've already played Maplestory 2, you're quite familiar with this, but if you aren't, this is how it works. You can run a total of 30 dungeons per week, but even more specifically than that, you can't actually run all 30 dungeons back to back to back, all in one day. You can only run a total of 10 dungeons a day as well. So at the very minimum, you have to go ahead and spread across your weekly dungeons across 3 days. So once you do get to 30 dungeons though, you won't end up getting loot on that character. Now this is per character, so if you do play several characters on your account, you can go ahead and do dungeon runs more than just the 30 per week. This is why a lot of people will say go ahead and play alts, because a lot of people on their main characters, well, it'll come Friday and then they'll do their dungeon runs, and then over the weekend they'll do more dungeon runs, and by Monday or Tuesday they're already at the dungeon limit of 30, and that means that there's several days where they're not able to get loot on their main character. So there was a producer blog, and I'll go ahead and I'll share with you guys the highlights of this, and they're going to be working on a beta feature and some improvements to the dungeon limit system. Dungeon limit reset. We will be offering a one-time reset of the dungeon limit per week as a beta feature with the November update as well. In detail, this is how it'll work. When you complete 30 adventure dungeons in a week, you will have the option to reset your counter once per account on a character of your choice per week. Once reset, your character will now be able to obtain full dungeon rewards again, up to 10 per day and 30 in total before the scheduled reset time of Friday at midnight UTC. We're still in discussion for the exact rewards you can get on additional dungeon runs to double check all the technical requirements. So essentially, to make this pretty simple, what this is going to allow you to do is it's going to allow you to pick one character per account, and it's going to give you double the dungeon runs that you can do right now. So right now you are limited to a total of 30 dungeons per week, but if you do end up getting to this limit of 30 dungeons per week pretty early on, you can go ahead and reset this count, and it'll go back to 0, and you'll give yourself the opportunity to run another 30 dungeons per week. So 60 dungeons per week, 10 dungeons per day. That means that you can go ahead and run the full limit of 10 dungeons per day every single day of the week except for one. That's a lot of dungeons, and I don't know about you, but even as somebody who's a bit more of a hardcore player, I feel like 60 dungeon runs a week is definitely pretty good. So this is definitely a pretty big update that they are planning on doing, and it definitely kind of changes the question of, do you really need to play alts in Maplestory 2? Because dungeon runs is going to be probably the most significant reason why people do decide to play alts. Once you get to that dungeon cap, it's going to be the best way to make mesos, to get gear, to get enchant materials for your main character, and all of those things. So that's one consideration in order to make for those of you guys who still have that question. Should you play alts? Should you make more characters? But I thought I would also go ahead and take a few minutes to tell you guys all the different things that I end up doing on my alt characters. So I'll go ahead and I'll actually show you guys. For those of you who haven't seen my character screen, I do have a few alt characters, and some people have noticed some very interesting things about them. First of all, the names. I know, guys, they're not very creative, but also they're both wizards as well. Now, when I made alt characters, I made them with one specific purpose. I made them simply to go ahead and funnel my main character and to help my main character. They aren't really characters that I plan on playing too much besides making mesos and doing a few things to help my main characters. I will play plenty of other classes in the future, but these alts, that's not the purpose that they have. So I'll go ahead and I'll share with you guys some of the things that I do on my alt characters when I don't feel like playing my main to help my main character out by making mesos or onyx crystals or enchantment materials and things like that. So first of all, of course, was the thing that just popped up, something I haven't actually done yet today, and that is daily missions. Daily missions are pretty important because they actually give you a lot of really useful materials that you don't actually have to end up using on your alt character. You can go ahead and send a lot of them over to your main character, and they're also pretty quick as well, especially things like the Get Rich tab. This takes maybe 3 to 5 minutes at the most, and it'll give you a couple 100,000 mesos. The Toughen Up and the Horde things are also quite important, but my main goal when I do play alt characters is to get all 10 daily missions done. Once I get to 10 daily missions done, I don't do any more on my alt characters. I just get these gold mission complete boxes. That's 6 of them that you can end up getting on each alt character each day, and that contains a lot of really useful stuff that you can use for your main character. Onyx crystals and all sorts of really awesome stuff. So that's one of the things that I do. Another thing that I end up doing on my alt characters, of course, is the dungeon runs. Now, my alt characters don't do hard mode dungeons. They only do normal mode dungeons, but normal mode dungeons are going to be a fantastic source of mesos. They're going to be a fantastic source of blue gear that you can go ahead and either sell on the black market, or you can go ahead and dismantle it for a decent amount of onyx crystals. And also, you end up getting all these reward boxes as well, which have some pretty useful materials, including even more onyx crystals, potions, and those chaos onyx crystals as well. And right now, if you guys are watching this video pretty closely after it's published, we do have an event going on, the Happy Million Players event, where for an entire week, we are getting double dungeon drops in normal mode dungeons. So this is something that I would do on my alt characters and not my main character. I save my dungeon runs on my main character specifically for hard mode dungeons. Occasionally, I'll do a normal mode dungeon to go ahead and knock out a daily quest here or there, but I really mostly save all my dungeon runs on my main character for hard mode dungeons. And if I decide to farm for onyx crystals or mesos, I'll go ahead and hop over to my alt characters and go ahead and I'll start running normal mode dungeons. And because of the way that Fair Fight actually works, interestingly enough, even though my alt characters really aren't geared that well, they're all in still blues and a couple of greens here and there, my alt characters actually don't really do that much less damage in dungeons than my main character does. So the completion time on my alts is actually pretty similar to the completion time on my main character when it comes to normal dungeons. So the other thing that I end up doing on alt characters is life skills. Now, I mentioned this last because this is probably the one thing that you really don't have to end up doing on alt characters if you don't want to, because it is very time consuming. Obviously, dungeons are very time consuming as well, but you get a lot of really easy rewards. You get a ton of onyx, a ton of mesos. It's a great way to make money. Daily quests are not very time consuming. You can end up doing all 10 daily quests in 5 to 10 minutes or less. But life skills are pretty time consuming, and a lot of people are saying, you know, should you do life skills on alt characters? Is it really worth the time to go out there and to gather all of these materials on all your alt characters? It does take a really long time. And honestly, I would say it might be worth it. It's definitely nice for the mastery, which is going to be a prestige experience. Gathering is a really good way to get it. Even after you've gotten to the daily limit, you get a bonus for the first million prestige experience that you get per day. But right now, specifically, I would go ahead and say doing life skills on your alts is worth it for handicrafts because of the savagery necklace boxes, the savagery ring boxes, and the savagery cape boxes, which will probably take a couple of weeks to unlock. These are selling for quite a bit of mesos, so I haven't really found too many things in the alchemy, cooking, and smithing life skills that are selling for a lot of mesos on the black market, but if you do invest in handicrafts on alt characters, you can make quite a few mesos, and that's actually one of the ways that I've made a pretty decent amount of mesos on my main character. I've been gathering on my alts, but I haven't really been doing too much crafting because it's just very time consuming, and even I play the game probably 10-12 hours a day sometimes, I haven't even had the time to do life skills on my alts. So that's probably the last thing that I would go ahead and do. But if you guys want to make some extra mesos, daily missions, and dungeon runs, definitely worth it. But I haven't really answered the question. Do you have to play alts in order to really feel like you're doing well in Maplestory 2? A lot of people have said that before. Some people are even saying it now. And I guess I'll go ahead and say that Maplestory 2 really isn't it's not a competitive game. It's a casual social game, and there's not really any competitive PvP. There's not really any crazy stuff going on in the game where there's a bunch of leaderboards, And I would say, without a doubt, the number one goal in the game really is to have fun. So if you don't feel like making a bunch of alt characters and doing the grind on a bunch of characters over and over again, then don't do it. You absolutely do not have to make alt characters in order to get your main character geared up and running raids. Absolutely not. We still have some time before chaos raids end up coming out. So don't feel pressured. If you guys enjoy running a lot of dungeon runs and the dungeon limit is kind of limiting you from doing that, or if you just want to make extra mesas for your main character, alt is a great way to do so, but you don't have to do anything that anybody is saying. Play the game, have fun, do what you want, and that's one of the awesome things about Maplestory 2, is it is a casual social game, and there's really not a lot of pressure to do anything in this game. I guarantee you guys that if you want to go ahead and run chaos raids when they do come out, you don't have to do a million alts to funnel into your main character to do so. You can find ways to get geared up and get ready for chaos raids without alts. So depends on what you guys want to do. Anyway, I just wanted to go ahead and throw out some information about alts because people have been asking me for a while now. So hopefully some of the things that I told you guys in this video helped out, especially that upcoming information in the producer blog about that dungeon limit increase. This is going to be pretty awesome. Really, really looking forward to this. So hopefully you guys are as well. And this will definitely take even more pressure off of feeling like you have to play alt characters. So with this all being said, thank you guys for watching, everybody. If you guys enjoyed the video, feel free to toss a quick like. It really does help out more than you guys can even imagine. And if you are new to the channel as well and you guys are interested in more videos in the future, consider subscribing. It helps out. And oh my goodness, guys, we have passed over 7,000 subscribers already. Thank you so much for all the support on the channel. It has been a crazy week with Maplestory 2. So thank you so much, everyone, for all the kind words, the feedback, and just the general positivity. Really do appreciate it, everyone. I am overwhelmed, so thank you guys. Have a fantastic day, and as I always mention in the last 15 to 20 seconds, if you guys are interested in a little monthly thing that I do on the channel, I host a small monthly giveaway. There's a link in the description that says October giveaway if you want a chance to win yourself an iTunes or Google Play gift card. If you click the link, if you're a subscriber to the channel, that'll give you 2 tickets. And if you leave a like or comment on the video, that'll give you a bonus ticket for 3 tickets and 3 chances to win. So good luck to those of you guys entering that. Thanks again, everyone. Have a great day. And until next time, this is Salt of the Salty Guild, signing out.